Oh, I'm like a ghost. There we go.
You're so white.
I am.
Good morning. Welcome to the Wellness Movement. I am Julie, and this is my friend Kaz. You're watching Spanglish World and her network on Zingo TV, channels 250, 251. Remember to download the Zingo TV app on the App Store. Leave a review. Make sure to, I don't know, just what I said. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Fire Sticks, Roku and Roku Sticks on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. Boom.
Whoa.
Nailed it. Hashtag nailed it.
That was fantastic.
Thanks, honey. I've been rehearsing.
Well, I can imagine so. It's a lot to say, but it's important. So people know where to see you.
Yes. No, I was out for a walk and I was like hustling home. So all of my brain waves are firing.
Uh-oh.
Neurons. But yeah, we want Kazarama, how's it going? How's life?
Lovely. It's summer, so I am in heaven. It's a little chilly the past couple of days for the first few days of summer. Considering this time last year, it was like 1,000 degrees, but
True.
The sun is still shining and the plants got a really good soaking over the weekend, which is great too. So now they're all green and luscious and it looks great.
I know my great regret with this house is that we do not have a sprinkler system. So in the summertime, I am the sprinkler system. And I absolutely love it when Mother Nature decides to rain.
Does your job for you.
Because she's so good at it.
Yes.
I don't know. Am I watering too much? Am I not watering enough? Who knows? I'm really guessing.
Uh-huh.
And this year, my garden is like, okay, first of all, we have so much lettuce, an insane amount of lettuce.
Well, then I'm coming to your house to shop because
please do. Come, take the lettuce. So, but everything is so lush. Like everything is so lush and green in my garden. And she just does such a bang up job that I think she should continue because otherwise I'm like, oh yeah, it rained on Monday. It's not raining until X day. I think I got to water. I might have to water today. But if she wants to throw in a thunderstorm today just for the heck of it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe kind of at night when we're asleep for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't ruin the day.
Exactly. So like I remember when I went to Miami, I loved Miami because it was like smoking hot. But in the middle of the afternoon, it would just like piss rain. And then it would go back to being smoking hot again.
Is it like you know how sometimes when you go to the tropics somewhere and it's like a little rain shower and it's almost a relief. I mean, it doesn't really do anything for the humidity, but it's just like, you can still sit outside. Was it like that?
No, it was like downpour from what I recall.
Right.
And then it would go back to being sunny and hot. Like it was one of those, I don't know how anybody lives there, by the way, because I remember getting out of my hotel, having like showered and all of that. And within 2 seconds flat, you're sweating. You're a hot, sweaty mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the hotel that we stayed at. And there was a conference that was being held by an Orthodox Jewish community, and they wear a lot of heavy garments.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just didn't understand how we weren't dying in the heat.
But I find when I went to Panama a few years ago, it was 45 degrees. Like I actually screenshot the weather all week. It was like 40, 41, 45, 42. It was insane to the point that you had to wear your shoes into the pool because it was too hot to take them off. It was absolutely ridiculously hot. And all of the workers on the resort are in like jeans and long sleeve shirts. And I'm like in a bikini thinking, how can I just take this off too? Like it's just too hot. But I guess they become acclimatized. The long sleeves I understand, because you don't want to be in that kind of sun and heat all day without some sort of protection for your skin. But the jeans, how do you wear jeans in that weather? The thought of it right now is making me agitated. Like I don't like really wearing jeans unless it's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't like being all like sticky and stuff. And I'm like a big wear dresses in the summer type of person. So I'm all about the dresses come summertime. But anyway, I love how we get off topic before even we get on topic.
It's all good. These are necessary conversations. I can't seem to move anywhere without just being washed out today. So all you're going to see today is my hair. And then a blank.
Well, you know,
face.
you do like ghost hunting and stuff, so you kind of look like a ghost, and it's sort of perfect.
You know what I love? I have to say this is my realtor just sent me a listing today of like top haunted trails to go to in Ontario. She's like, oh, I saw this and thought of you. And I've had so many people send me different things. I love it now. I love that people see these haunted things and they're like, oh, I know exactly who I should send this to. It's great. It's great.
Well, maybe we should go hike on one of those haunted trails.
Well, the trouble is, there's none like close by. I think the two that are in Ontario, one's in Hamilton. Oh no, I think they're all in Ontario. But it's like Hamilton, Thunder Bay, Sudbury. Like there's none in Oshawa, which you would kind of think. The amount of dead bodies they find down at the beach near my house, I don't know why that's not a haunted trail at this point. But I think those are mob killings, and I think they're not killed there. They're just thrown there. No judgment, mob. Please don't come after me.
Yes.
You do your thing. Let's change the subject.
Okay. All right. So it was interesting because like this week in my newsletter, I want to talk about having like morning and evening routines, but I realized that the secret to having I don't think this is like a crazy earth-shattering realization, but I realized through my own trial and error, like since I've come back from California, I've really struggled with my morning routine. Mm-hmm. Thank God I work for myself. You know, like if I had to be somewhere at 9 a.m., it would be an epic fail every single morning. Mm-hmm. This is why I purposely never schedule anything before 10 a.m. Right? Oh. I do. And I also schedule myself breaks in the middle of my day, you know, where, you know, some days I'm doing a midday workout and other days like Michael and I will take the doggies for a stroll. But the secret to having a successful morning routine is really having a great evening routine.
Okay.
And it's important to have some discipline around that. And it's very, very hard because we have things like Netflix and social media being the two main distractions.
Right.
That can really mess up because it's possible to be watching TV late into the night. Mm-hmm. So for example, there was a big hockey game last night. Michael was watching the hockey game until I don't know what time I went to bed. And it's also possible to be on social media until all hours of the night as well. So even if your intention was to get up early to do certain things for yourself, you can really derail your plans depending on what you're doing the night before.
Right.
Yeah. That's
very true. I've noticed, I don't know if it's just a COVID thing, but I go to bed so late now. If I go to bed before 11 o'clock, it's a miracle. And it's not that I just don't know what happens. All of a sudden, like it was 11:15 last night. And I'm like, it was 9 o'clock 5 minutes ago. And suddenly it's not. Everything's shifted. And now it's just late.
So what were you doing between 9 o'clock and 5 minutes later?
I have no idea.
Like,
Honestly, I remember looking at the time. It was 9:15, and I was thinking, all right, I'm on track here to kind of go to bed at a semi-decent hour tonight. And I was hanging out with the kids. We were chit-chatting. And then all of a sudden I look at the clock and it's 11:45. And I thought it said 9:45. So I was like, okay. And then I'm like, wait, that says 10:45. So I said to Brianna, is it 11:45? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? What's happened here? I can't tell you what I did.
well, you were hanging
have
out
no
with the
idea.
kids, so clearly your children are a distraction.
Yes. And clearly they're up all hours of the night too.
Well, they're probably like, oh, this is great. Mom's not telling us to go to bed. We can just hang
Yes.
out.
I know. It's true. And I think that was a big part of it, is that they were just playing around. And because they're older now, it's nice when they do things that are like childlike, like have a pillow fight or just play fight, and they're like running around. And so I think that's why I just was oblivious to the fact that time was flying by. That time was flying by.
Literally.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah. I mean, hey, yeah. There. I mean, you could potentially look at setting an alarm for yourself, and like, there. Apple has that on their phones, on the iPhones. Like you can set a just like we have an alarm to wake up, you can set an alarm to go to bed.
Yes, I think for some reason I have seen this thing because it's like 7:15 bedtime. I don't know why it's set at that.
Oh,
I've never, maybe as a child went to bed at 7:15. So I guess it was like a standard thing that just, it doesn't go off. Like it's not an alarm that goes off. But when I go on to if I want to set an alarm, it's right at the very top. 7:15 bedtime.
it's
Like,
funny.
I wish.
I wear an Aura ring,
Mm-hmm.
and the app actually lets me know at a certain time. It's usually before 8, and it's like bedtime's approaching. It's like,
Oh my gosh.
you start to wind down your day. So that's my warning to get myself ready. Not to say that it works, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I have a meeting at 9:00. That's
Right.
not my meeting, but I generally attend. And so I can't go to bed before 9 anyway. But one of the things we've talked about is like, is there a way that I could get everything done so that I can attend the meeting at 9 virtually, and then as soon as the meeting's over, go to bed?
Right.
Because what happens is the meeting ends. This is what's tripping me up for my mornings, is the meeting ends, and then I do my wind down. Then I take the dogs out and I clean up the kitchen and da 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 da. And then next thing you know, it's 11:00. And I'm wanting to get up early, but it's not happening because I'm not going to bed until 11. And so
Right.
it's not working out. So I like woke up this morning. I still got up like at a decent time, but I thought to myself, I got to rein in that evening routine. It's killing me. It's killing me. I want to get up early and do all my stuff before 9 a.m. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And for people who are watching or listening, it's like, honestly, if you're struggling to carve out time for like a workout and meditation and journaling, and I mean, I'm a nerd when it comes to my morning routine, the best time to really do it is first thing in the morning, to get up a little bit earlier to make all that happen before your life kind of kicks in. Otherwise, you're forever behind, right?
Mm-hmm. Many months ago, it might be over a year now, I set my alarm to 6 a.m. so that I would get up and do stuff. And now my alarm goes off at 6, and that's my cue to reset my alarm for, like, depending on what time my day starts, either 7, 7:30, or 8. But I've become so accustomed now to my alarm going off and me going, yes, I now have X amount of time to go back to sleep. It's so strange. I don't know, but I do it. So if I just set my alarm at 7, I'd wake up miserable and cranky and whatever, because I need to wake up at that 6 a.m. and then know I have extra time to go back to sleep.
Okay, but if you could sleep uninterrupted until 7, it would be more restful than resetting your alarm at 6 a.m. for 7 a.m.
Potentially. I don't even know why. Sometimes I don't actually go back to sleep. I just lay there, but it is restful. It's not like I just toss and turn, but it's mentally knowing I have that additional hour or 2 hours that I'm like, yes, okay. Now, as we move into the summer, so this time last year, I was just finally allowed to go back to work, but I was easing myself into it. But I was in such a good routine. I would wake up early. I'd make myself a coffee. I'd sit out on the deck. I would do my Spanish, and I would usually do like a meditation or something. I had it fine-tuned, and it felt so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I slowly started going back to work. So, of course, that kind of got kiboshed for no reason, because I still can do those things in the morning.
Yeah.
But I just slowly got back into the routine of going to work instead, and all of the hustle and bustle that comes with that in the morning. Mm-hmm. So I would like to get back to that. Who knows? As things change for my life in a few months, we'll see what happens there when I find myself alone for weeks at a time. So we'll see.
Maybe you'll be calling me to come over.
Maybe. Or maybe I'll be like, oh, I should have done this a long time ago. I love all this time by myself.
Well, I did get up early, and I meditated and did my yoga practice before anybody else was awake. And I really liked it. And I was like, oh yeah, I do love this, and it does something, doing that stuff in the morning, it does something to the day. Like, I feel like I do get time stretches. That's what it feels like. I feel like, yes, technically it's 24 hours. There aren't more hours in the day, but the time just kind of stretches in such a way where I don't feel as panicked about getting things done. The things still get done, but I'm more relaxed and chill about it.
Right.
So that's what I love about it. And I do love, because usually, like, for example, there have been times in these past several weeks, like, I've really struggled since I came back from California in terms of putting my evening and my morning routines back in place, like it was like before I left. And I woke up this morning and I'm like, you know what? It'd be really good if I just lived on the West Coast, because I can get up at this time, but it's 3 hours earlier there. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm trying to strive for. It's getting up at 5 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning. So maybe that's what has to happen. But anyway, there have been some mornings where I've gotten up and I've done my meditation practice, but when I'm going to do my yoga practice, like, I'll finish my meditation practice, Michael will be up, we get the dogs out, and then I come back to try and do my yoga practice, and the dogs are jumping all over me, right? They think it's a game, and I'm like, this is a lesson from the universe that I need to be doing this stuff without people around and dogs, right?
Yes.
So that has been my challenge, has been just trying to, and Michael's, of course, he's like, you need the sleep. You just need rest. I'm like, no, I need to get my ass out of bed, because there's some things I want to do. And I like doing those things in the quiet of the morning instead of like the busyness of the day. And like, different times of the day have different energies, right? Like,
absolutely.
So doing a meditation at 9 a.m. is a very different energy than doing a meditation at 6 a.m.
Absolutely.
So
I completely agree.
I find my focus is better at 6.
Mm-hmm.
If I try to sit at 9 a.m., I'm thinking about emails I have to respond to, right? Stuff that has to get done. Oh, the person that I meant to get back to, but I didn't. And so I just yeah. Anyway, I don't know that we've come to a conclusion, but I will say this, like if you're wanting to fine tune your morning routine, having more discipline around the evening, really good to try and get off of TV and social media and all that stuff. Like ideally an hour before, but if you can't, like at least half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So that your body's like preparing for sleep, right? We're around these blue screens all the time. It actually disrupts our melatonin production and makes our brain think it's earlier than in the day than it is, which is also why it's hard to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do have a lot of clients that complain that they just don't get enough sleep. And I think a big part of it is we carry around so much of what's happened during the day, and we're not really giving ourselves time to process it and filter it out because we're losing ourselves in TV or social media. And then we go, okay, well, now I'm going to go to bed. And the brain's like, oh, good. You're finally not distracted. Let's talk about all this stuff that we didn't process today. And that's why people toss and turn and lay there and they're like, oh, why can't I go to sleep? Myself included, there are days that happens. And so it's a challenge to then learn to filter that stuff out. And if you're going to bed at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning and have to get up at 6, you'll never feel rested. Trust me.
Well, you're only getting 5 hours of sleep, so you'll definitely not feel rested because that is way below the amount of sleep you should be getting. So,
or even, if you're going to bed at that time, but then you're still tossing and turning, you're really drastically reducing that window of time that you can have some decent sleep as well. So,
yeah. This is why evening routines are great. Like doing breath work, meditation, journaling, having a bath, any of those things to kind of unwind from the day. And I know some days, like I'm getting in a bath before I go to bed just to kind of chill out and like read a book.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be long, it just can be 10, 15 minutes, but that's enough to kind of unplug from the day. And yeah.
I haven't had a bath in so long. To reiterate, I shower. It's not like I'm gross. I've never bathed myself, but I just haven't. We have this big soaker tub, but I never use it.
Yes, I've heard about this soaker tub.
But in a few months, I'll have a hot tub, so that's fine.
Oh yeah.
Just use that.
When am I coming over? When is this celebration?
Oh, what? I'm busy that day. Oh, yes. I have to make sure I know how to work it and everything first. Then we can have the gatherings.
I'm sure there'll be instructions.
Yes. For sure.
For sure. Well, I think next time maybe we should talk about sleep.
Definitely.
And I'll actually write it down because there's a lot of really good tips for sleep that are good to employ. And ever since I started wearing my Aura ring, I'm even more conscientious about sleep.
Oh, good.
There was a few days where it was, they actually had to send me a replacement because it stopped working. And thankfully, they sent me a replacement. It's all under warranty and stuff. But I was like, oh my God, I'm not able to track my sleep. What the heck is going on? But anyway, yeah. So next time we'll talk about sleep. Deal. All right. To everybody who tuned in, this show can be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Her network, is part of Spanglish World Media. For all information, go to spanglishworld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, live it. Yay. Nailed it.
You did. Opening and closing. Well done.
Boom, boom, boom.